Hello, my dear student. How are you? You're doing great? That's what I like to hear. What's my name? It's Kyle. Exactly. What's my profession? No, I am not an astronaut. I am an English teacher. And now that you know, I can explain what this video is about. It's a simple English video because the best way to get fluent in a language is by listening a lot to the language, so you can get used to the pronunciation and you can begin building your vocabulary. But you can't be doing that with advanced materials because you won't understand anything, and that's why simple English videos exist. They're like training wheels, but instead of learning how to ride a bike, you're learning how to speak, listen, communicate in another language. And in today's simple English video, turn on the subtitles here if you want a little bit of extra help. I'm going to be answering a question I get a lot for some reason from my Latin American students. And that question is, do I have a pet? And the answer is no, I don't have a pet. And I'm always a little bit surprised by this question because most of my students know that at this moment I live kind of a nomadic lifestyle. 1 month I'm in Mexico, the next month I'm in Brazil, the next month I'm in Colombia. There are positives and negatives to this. I actually made a simple English video about that. You can watch it here. But because I'm nomadic, it doesn't really make sense to have a pet, which is why it surprises me that they ask me that question. So why wouldn't I want a pet when I'm traveling? Because again, it's a common question, so it seems like many people think that no matter the lifestyle, you should have a pet. Well, the big thing with me is that I grew up on a small farm in Canada. So I grew up with a lot of animals. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're one of the billions of people in the world that grew up in a city. I didn't grow up in a city. As I said, I grew up on a small farm. And my mom also grew up on a small farm. And when she had kids and when she was an adult, she didn't want to move to the city. She didn't want to abandon her country roots. No, she wanted to keep living in the countryside and to have animals. My mom loves animals. So when I was growing up, I was surrounded by animals. The majority of the time, I was surrounded by dogs, cats, and horses. And maybe for you, you would call those pets. And I guess when you live on a farm, you feel a little bit uncomfortable calling them pets because I guess in a way they're pets, but for us, we never really called them pets. We just called them our animals, our farm animals, because that's what they were to us. And because I grew up with so many animals, so besides those ones, besides the dogs, cats, and horses that I grew up with since I was born, I've also been surrounded at different points of my life by donkeys, sheep, ducks, chickens, turkeys, pigs. Did I say goats? I'm not too sure. So lots of animals. And because of being surrounded by so many animals, and because my mom wanted me to learn about the responsibilities of life, well, many times I had to take care of these animals. In our case, on the small farm, feeding them. And I soon realized by having these animals that having animals or pets is a lot of work. And I do agree with a lot of people that pets can bring a lot of happiness. For example, if you live in a city and you have a dog or a cat and you have a hard day at work, you come home, you have an animal that loves you. So that makes sense to me. Have an animal so that you have more happiness in your life. In my case, I would rather not have more responsibilities than have a little bit more happiness. Again, pets do make me happy, but I prefer having less things to do than more things to do. So if I had a dog, I would have to take it for walks. I'd have to clean up its poop when it poops on the sidewalk. If I had a cat, I'd have to clean up its litter. For any pet, you have to pay for pet food and feed it, and those are more costs. And who knows, maybe somebody will say that I'm cheap, but yeah, I would rather not spend money on another living thing at this moment. And with my mom, again, she has so many animals that it's almost impossible for her to travel. So I travel a lot, and there are many parts of the world that I would love to show my family, but because my mom has so many animals, it's almost impossible for her to leave home and visit Colombia or Mexico or Brazil or Argentina or Europe, wherever it is, because one, she has to find somebody to take care of her animals, and two, she loves her animals. So if one of her animals gets sick when she's gone, or breaks a leg, or there's a problem with the farm, she's gonna spend the entire trip worrying about the animal. So to be honest with my mom, she really hasn't taken a real vacation in a few years, because it's really difficult for her to leave home. Now, luckily in her case, my sister and her husband live close to her, so when she does make a trip somewhere for a few days, my sister and her husband can take care of the animals. But yeah, normally she's not comfortable leaving the animals for more than 1 week. So because I travel, and because of my mom, I know that if I had a pet, there would be so many things I'd have to think about. If I wanted to leave my pet behind, I'd have to find somebody to take care of it for me. And if I did decide to travel with my pet, well, it's gonna cost more money to travel on airplanes, and it's gonna be an extra few hours at the airports, making sure that my pet gets through customs and gets on the plane just like myself. And I really don't wanna deal with that. So the biggest reason I don't have a pet right now is because of all the extra time and resources I would have to put into it in order to take care of it. And the other thing too is, well, I live in Latin America a lot right now, and many people here don't really train their animals that well. The dogs are constantly barking, there are stray animals in the streets, and I don't want to be one of those people because I'm so busy. I don't have time to properly train my pet, and then it's causing problems for everybody in my building and everybody in the neighborhood. I don't want to do that. So those are all the reasons I don't have a pet. Now, this doesn't mean that I've never had a pet. I've had pets in the past. I think the last pet I had was a hedgehog. And there's a bit of an interesting story with this hedgehog, because my first serious relationship was with a Mexican girl. And for 3 years, we talked about getting a hedgehog. You know, that small animal with spikes on its back that curls up into a ball to defend itself. So when I was a kid, we had a pet hedgehog at home. Its name was Sonia. It was a female. And for whatever reason, me and my ex-girlfriend, she heard about this pet hedgehog I had, and she wanted one too, but we never got one, and then we broke up. But my sister, she knew that my ex-girlfriend and I wanted to get a hedgehog, and when we broke up, I had a hard time getting over the breakup. And I love my sister. She's a fantastic sister, a fantastic woman. She wants others around her to feel good, but for me, it was kind of a dumb decision that she made. So I we break up, my girlfriend and I break up a few months before Christmas. And for whatever reason, my sister thinks the best way to help me overcome the breakup is by getting the pet that my ex-girlfriend and I wanted to get for the last few years. Now, maybe you're somebody, like my sister at the time, that doesn't understand the pain of a breakup. So, I was heartbroken and I really didn't want any reminders of my ex-girlfriend at that time. I deleted all of our pictures from social media and my phone. I had basically stored away or threw out memories that we had together. I was doing everything I could to forget about her, because if you've gone through a breakup, it's very difficult. So my sister didn't seem to understand that. For some reason, she thought it would be a good idea to get me a hedgehog. So that's what she did. So on Christmas morning, on December 25th, 2013, something like that, my sister got me a hedgehog. So I see this package, I unwrap it, and inside is a hedgehog. Now I'm Canadian, I'm not too sure about people from different cultures, but we're really bad at saying that a present is a bad present. So I didn't tell my sister anything. I opened it and I pretended to be pleasantly surprised, like, oh, a hedgehog. Thanks, sister. But in my head I was thinking, are you serious? You got me a hedgehog. I am going through hell right now trying to get over my ex-girlfriend, and you've just gotten me an animal that is going to remind me of my ex-girlfriend. So I wasn't very happy. And it's funny because my mom told me when I opened it, yeah, we didn't know if it'd be a good present or not for you because of your ex-girlfriend, but we thought it might be something to help you get over the breakup. So I think both of them kind of knew it might be a bad idea. And well, if they watch this video, because sometimes they watch my videos, it was a bad idea. So anyways, I had a pet hedgehog for a few years. I didn't really take care of it too well. I didn't neglect it, but at the same time I wasn't invested in it for all the reasons I told you a few minutes ago about how pets are more time and resources. I was in university at the time, I was studying, I was working. I really didn't have time to be spending on a hedgehog or training a hedgehog. So more or less I had a hedgehog. It was in my closet for a few years. I cleaned its pen once a week, once every few weeks, and that's more or less what happened. And a few years later, it died for natural reasons. We don't really know. Just one day we opened the cage and the hedgehog was dead. The hedgehog's name was Benito, after the Mexican president Benito Juarez. So yeah, that was the hedgehog. And my first pet that I ever got, quickly, was a gerbil. If you don't know what gerbil is, kind of like a mouse, kangaroo. And for whatever reason, when I was 10 years old, I wanted to get a gerbil as a pet. My mom more or less told me it was a bad idea, but I told her, all I want for my birthday is a gerbil. So she got me a gerbil, and my mom or my parents told me, all right, you have your first pet, you need to take care of it. And I said, oh yeah, I'll take care of it. But to be honest, I didn't take care of it that well. One thing about gerbils is, for whatever reason, they like to, sometimes, not always, but they'll basically amputate themselves. So with my gerbil, either because I didn't get enough attention, maybe I didn't clean the cage soon enough. I believe actually when this happened, we were on vacation somewhere for a week, and when we came back, well, it had chewed its leg off for whatever reason. So then for, I can't remember how long after that, a few months or a year, I had a gerbil with 3 legs. Its name was Blackjack. And then, like with the hedgehog, it died of natural causes. Of course, gerbils are small animals, they don't live for a very long time. So I think I might have had a gerbil for 1 or 2 years, I can't remember. And I think also because of that gerbil, I realized how much time you need to invest in order to have a pet. And ever since that moment, and also because of the influence of my mother and all the lessons I learned from taking care of animals, I decided I didn't really want a pet. Now, to end the simple English video, maybe a few quick questions about pets. First question that a lot of people always ask, not just me, but friends or new people, is would I rather have a cat or a dog? The two most common pets in the world. And actually, I like both cats and dogs. I like cats because they're low maintenance. Basically, all you have to do is feed it and it will poop and pee by itself. You don't have to take it for walks. Basically, it takes care of itself. At the same time, I find that cats aren't as loyal as dogs. And because loyalty is a very important quality that I look for in people and in animals, I would probably prefer to have a dog, even though I would say dogs are more high maintenance. You have to take it for walks. You got to clean up after it when it poops on the streets. And you also have to make sure you train it, because if you don't train a dog, then they're probably going to create more problems than you would like. So yeah, I would prefer a dog. And when will I get a pet in the future? I don't think I'm going to get a pet, in this case probably a dog, until I have kids. Like for me, I really want a dog just to protect my family in the future. I don't really feel in danger right now, so I don't really want a dog. And I have so many things that I want to do that I don't really want something to take care of. So probably when I have a family, but it also could be when I decide I want to live in one part of the world and I want to settle down a little bit. Then I might also get a dog. But more than likely, I won't get a dog until I have kids. And that is my simple English about pets. Hopefully you found it interesting. If you have any other simple questions you want to ask me so I can create future simple English videos for you, then give me your questions down below in the comments. And what about you? Do you have any pets? Leave me your answers down below in the comments so I can see how your English is and so you can practice. And of course, if you like these videos, make sure to like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon so you get notifications when I release new simple English videos. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon, my dear student.